Well, hello and welcome back to our Lightroom workflow tutorials that you never asked for. In today's episode, we're going to be jumping back on the mobile app. Since some of you might be thinking, my editing sucks because I only have the free version of the app. Today, we're going to focus on the free app features, so you really have no excuse to suck. As an example, today I want to take this picture that I took last summer while running with friends after work on the mountains here close by. And already with this, I can give you a good photography advice. Go live somewhere nice. Because if you live in Charleroi in Belgium or in Zurich, your life as a photographer will be harder. Anyways, so this picture was taken at the golden hour, so light-wise the conditions were pretty good. Our main subject is this friend of mine who's actually a really good runner. He could have been a pro actually, but is into gambling and recreational drugs. Anyways, the crop is pretty nice. What we could do eventually is put our subject exactly on the third lines, maybe inside of the third lines, something like this. There you go. Okay, like it like that. Then we can move on to the light settings. I know you would want to press that auto button, but we are not. We're not here to use that crap, but we're here to learn. So we will go directly into the light panel. In this picture, what I see first is that the shadows are pretty harsh, so I'm gonna pull them up by quite a lot. I don't mind going up to 70, 80, as long as it doesn't distort the picture. In this case, it looks pretty nice, so it's fine. I'm gonna turn down the highlights just by 15. To give it a little bit more balance, and whites up and blacks down to create more depth. Exposure, we could raise it just a tiny bit. 0.30, 0.40 is too much, 0.40 is too much, 0.30 is fine. And instead of changing the contrast, I'm gonna go play with the curve. And with the curve, I'm gonna do this S curve to create that nice cinematic contrast in my picture. And as you can see, it's already way better than it was before. So now it's time to move on to the color panel. As you can see, in my panel, the temperature is set in Kelvin, instead of having the numbers like 0, +1, +2, and so on. Why? Because I shot the picture in a RAW format. I shot it with a phone indeed. And most of the phones out there, probably yours too, has an expert mode that allows you to shoot in RAW files. What does it mean? That the picture you're going to take is going to have way more information to give you flexibility during your editing. What's the downside of it? Well, the file is way bigger. Is it worth it? Definitely yes. If you do not have enough space on your phone, well, the first thing you could do is go to the videos that you shot the last time you were at a concert and just delete them. Because first of all, nobody's going to look at them, nobody cares, and secondly, at every concert, there's always a videographer who's paid to film the whole concert, and you can find it on YouTube. So here's your solution. Anyways, let's go on. As I was saying, temperature first. It's summery, so I would pump up a little bit the temperature around 5007, yeah, something like this, not too much. Then the vibrance, I want to push it up by a lot, because I want it to be really colorful. 27 is okay. I will turn down a bit the saturation to compensate with the high vibrance. There you go. Much better already. Now we can move on to the color mixer. Now I'm going to teach you a trick to turn most of your landscape picture, especially when there's a blue sky, into something more cinematic. So what we're going to do is we're going to go on the blue channel and pull it on the left direction teal color. You see? There you go, we're going to the teal. When it gets too green, just come back a little bit. But if it fits, if it's still realistic, keep it on a limit. Eventually, what we could do is balance it by reducing the saturation and the luminance. No, the luminance, let's push it up just a bit to avoid to have this stain on the left. What else we could do? The greens, we have a lot of greens. I will bring them closer to the yellow tones, so go -15. And the yellows, I will pull up a little bit the saturation since it's summer and we want to have hot colors. There you go. I would turn down completely purples and magentas since we don't have any in nature usually. And then we have some reds on the shore of the runner, sorry. I don't mind keeping it like this. I mean, it creates a sort of attraction to the viewers directly to the subject. Eventually reduce a little bit the saturation, but keep it alive. We could move on and go to the grading. Do we actually need grading? Not necessarily. I kind of like it how it's looking now, but we're gonna test it anyways. So we can experiment. I don't mind having the shadows with some kind of blue tint, something subtle like this. So we have some midtones, something warmer, yeah, and probably the highlights more into a yellowish gold. There you go. Okay, kind of like it. Let's move on to my favorite panel, the effects. So most of the photographers out there will tell you that nowadays we only use negative clarity. In this case, with mountains, I personally like to have positive clarity since it makes the mountains more dominant. Mountains are your secret lover. You should love them, but also fear them. Anyways, so we raise the clarity to 20, bring up a little bit of texture, and we already have a really nice haze, and natural haze into the picture. Should we add some or reduce? We could either add, no. Let's make it punchy this time. So we're gonna reduce the haze by making +10. Okay. I wouldn't use any vignette in here and neither grain because I want to have my picture clean. I don't want to simulate any film. I'm not pretending I'm shooting on film, at least not now. And I feel this is pretty much it. The before and after, I kind of like it. Now, what I'm going to show you is what you could do if you weren't a cheap and you would pay the license. You could add some blur to the picture. What it's going to do is with AI, it's going to simulate the depth of field that a professional camera can create. Let's see what comes out. Nice. So let me set the focus range. There you go. As you can see, it created some blur in the foreground that wasn't there before. And another thing that you could do if you weren't a cheap is remove the things that you don't like. So in this case, this picture was taken with my previous phone, had a problem with the main lens. It would create that stain on every shot I would take. So I'm gonna remove it from here. And actually, I sold that phone to a guy who didn't complain yet about it. So let's hope for the best. Okay, removed. It's updating all the lens blur stuff. And another thing you could do is remove the logos, because you have to know that big corporate do not care about you. So that's a good reason to remove their logos from your pictures. And also stop tagging them in your pictures. We know you pay their products. You're not an ambassador. Anyways, I'm gonna remove this brand here. There you go. AI makes a mess as usual. Okay, let's try to change it to refine it. Worse. Okay, now just as an example, I would have run it another time. Just as an example, this is going to be fine. Well, just to show that additional feature you could have if you were willing to pay for a license. Does it worth it to pay a license? I would say yes, but I'm also not paying my license myself, so it's easy for me to tell. Anyways, this was it for today. Stay tuned.